Choiseul, located in the southwestern belt of the island, is one of the most scenic places in Saint Lucia. The majestic Gros Piton is visible from almost any location in Choiseul.
Choiseul is a fairly large community. You will notice quite a large area with a number of ridges. That in itself makes it peculiar because it enhances the beauty. You stay one place and you look across, you see one ridge, a beautiful ridge over here and a beautiful ridge over there.
The area seen just behind me is the famous Lavi area. That is where we find the Saint Lucia area. Of course, the next ridge where you can see the sugar mill, that is Fiat. The other sugar mill way in the background, that's Monsieur Ridge. And then way back, just in front of Gros Piton, that's the Delce Ridge. The famous Caribbean area of La Pointe is out of picture now. You'll not be able to see it, but it's around the Delce area. So this is a real beautiful area of Choiseul, what I call Choiseul West.
A lot has changed in Choiseul over the years, but residents of Choiseul have engaged in the same sort of economic activity for generations. Craft and fishing are two key pillars of economic life in Choiseul.
Every region has its own peculiar craft. For example, if you go back to the Caribbean area, La Pointe, Delce, and to some extent Monsieur, the people are mostly involved in clay work. They do a lot of the pottery, the coal pots and the canoe and these things around this area. You move to Lewish Cafe, where you get persons mostly involved in the straw work. Then you go to Dakite area, where the people are mostly involved in basketry. And Solibus and Debrel is famous for straw work too. And Solibus, a variety of craft around Solibus. And even at PI, a lot of cultural activities go on there, the sculpting and whatever.
The functional clay coal pot of the Saint Lucian housewife is conceived and created right there in Martin. Martin is rich in a dark clay soil, which is the prime product going into those pots. From Martin, we move to Montgouge, the home of the straw chair.
Starting so. Doing it that. Exactly. Bring it there. No, that's the last one. Yes, exactly. That is how it's going. And next one to do else again.
It's important for the artisans throughout the length and breadth of Choiseul to have an outlet to offer their products for sale.
Choiseul Arts and Craft Center used to be the central market for craft in Choiseul, but right now it's a bit dormant and there was the need to open that place, so she grabbed the opportunity and there you go, we created Crafty Creations.
Located on the main road in Lafargue, Crafty Creations, formed in 2004, is an ideal outlet. It brings the bulk of the products from the interior to the roadside. Lafargue is a popular thoroughfare for tourists coming anywhere from the north via the east coast to Soufrière. Fishing follows a close second behind craft for income generation. The construction of a fisheries complex has brought some convenience for fishermen in the community.
There has been a great improvement for the fishermen of the Choiseul community. To compare with the past years, where it took 10 to 12 men to pull a boat ashore, if it's a fiberglass in particular, this fiberglass boat within a short space of time would be damaged. Right now, after fishing expedition, all boats have been landed at the moorings.
Yes, it is true, we have more space. Especially when it comes to the hurricane season, it's easier for us now. Because long ago, when it's still around the hurricane season, you know, bad weather, we have to pull our boats all in the bushes, you know. We have to pass the road because as long as the sea is rough, you don't get no sand by the shore side where we could pull our boats. So you have to be pulling our boats away from the road.
Also available are locker rooms being rented to the fishermen to store their fishing equipment and fishing gear such as the engine. There is also an ice machine on this facility for the storage of ice.
So it's a little better to compare from before, you know. You have more space, we have ice where we could, you know, where we could preserve the fish with ice, which we couldn't do before. Again, fishermen could come from sea later than before. Ice again, you could ice the fish, next day you could get to sell your fish, whereas you couldn't do it long ago.
Residents of Choiseul have had to be resourceful in building their community. Accessibility to mainstream services was a challenge in the early development of the community. It's not surprising then that some institutions have flourished and residents could not imagine life without them. One such institution is the Choiseul Credit Union.
The organization was founded by Father Lavi Chwazey, who was the parish priest at the time. It started through some community help, gearing mainly at building houses for the less fortunate persons. From our records, most of the loans that we have been disbursing are housing loans. We have a few that are vehicular, but in between you'd find the education and other types of loans being granted. As it stands now, it's a viable organization and it's doing pretty well with some asset of $18 million.
Education is important in the continuing development of Choiseul. The establishment of an information technology laboratory at the Reunion Primary School in 2002 signified the transformation of the institution and the direction it was taking.
Presently, the students at the Reunion Primary School are always engaged in activities where this center is used. The IT, which is information technology, is timetabled, and every class, including the infants, which are now coming on board, enjoy participating in such sessions. And so I can say we have seen a remarkable improvement in not just their interest in information technology, but just the whole aptitude about school and coming to school, because there's so much more to learn at the Reunion Primary School. So originally, when this lab was established, it was established with the intention of providing services to the wider community. And so presently there is a management committee put in place to see over these factors. And I think by now matters are in place so that pretty soon such services will be made available to the wider community.
Saint was once overgrown with shrub, but a project initiated by the government of Saint Lucia brought residents together to spruce up the area, converting Saint into the community's most popular recreational spot.
When the Comfort 2000 initiative came about, and we were scouting around for projects, you know, from the various communities, one community came up with the idea of developing Sabusha into a recreational park. And we thought the idea was a good one, and right away we endeavored to start cleaning and planting some of flower trees, plants, and all of these things so that we can enhance Sabusha and make it look very environmentally friendly.
The Sabusha project won Choiseul the Comfort 2000 prize.
Right away it became a household name. When you have activities out here, people would come from all the parts of the island and find themselves at Sabusha.
The sporting prowess of Choiseul youth has been revived with a burst of renewed interest in cricket.
The cricket has always brought quite a bit of people to the area. The young players, they always come around, they want to see and learn more from the older folks. And I think the cricket is doing a great deal for Choiseul.
Cricket definitely is a very Choiseul sport. From the time I know Choiseul, I've been playing a lot of cricket. But recently, we dropped. We're just trying to pick it up now, from there.
In 2005, an ultra-modern highway from Vieux-Fort to Soufrière was completed, opening up Choiseul to prospects for improved quality of life.